Hey, what's up, guys? Be here again, and this wasn't a YouTube video. Just want to make a quick video on just a few plays I'm looking at for tomorrow. But I had a few questions from a few guys, actually, not just a couple, but actually more than 10 people probably messaged me this, and I'm definitely okay to go through this kind of scenario. But what to look for when you're at all-time highs or approaching, potential plays for all-time highs, and for one, what you definitely want to mark is on a bigger time frame. Mark the meat of that bone. Mark the the body of that candle. You don't want to mark the wick. I mean, you do want to mark the wick when you get to it because then that's when you'll know you have a new all-time high. But if you're gonna look at a bigger time frame, definitely check that bigger one. You're gonna want to mark other notable areas. Where did you stop before this? There's a good line right here. You have the resistance from 2 days ago, and it actually ended up being broken, but kept above during that pre-market before it was broken. So you have another tiny notable level. You have another notable level here and here because you have the gap range there between Tesla. So you have two more notable levels, which you're actually kind of touching one right now in after hours of today. So be looking for those kind of moves tomorrow. If you have any bigger movement, all you'll adjust is the pre-market information. So nothing big there, and you'll know if you have a new all-time high and all that stuff. And then there's another one, Amazon. So here on Amazon, let me actually delete these so you can see why I'm drawing them. But all you're gonna do here on Amazon, I'm on the hourly. I'm not like on a small time frame, Jason. So just mark it all-time high. You're gonna want to mark some notable levels, which, if you look over here on the left, marking this peak of that day, that was the high of that day, or pretty much the high of that day, ended up being a resistance here, a resistance here, a resistance here, ended up being used as damn near the gap level for this gap up here, as well as a resistance here after it had a bunch of choppy movement in the first 2 hours of that day, of yesterday. So now we're looking over here, and you have a tighter range. So you're going to want to mark this for another notable level. I say that because that's one, the meat of the bone of this hourly candle for yesterday, and it's a resistance for today's high. So that's a good notable level for pre-market. If it's going to stay under this, you know damn well that you need to break above 33.50. And then another question I kept getting was targets. Setting targets is another really good thing that you guys should be doing. So your target would be that all-time high for one, which let me make sure it's the all-time high before I just start. Yeah, it is. Okay. So that's the all-time high. That would be your target. Break above that. What are you thinking? I don't know. There's no levels above it. Well, actually, there is levels above it. There's psychological whole numbers that I talk about all the time, and it's perfectly fine if you don't know. But what you should note in your, or just write it down somewhere. Just remember this for whenever. But this is a really cool fact. But above 3380, your target would be 3400. You could even say you could really go in depth and break it down, but 3385, 3390, 3395, 3400, 3405, 3410, so on and so on and so on. But those psychological whole numbers are what people look at whenever they're buying a stock up at all-time highs. They're looking up at that and they're thinking, "Oh, I kind of like this number." For like on Apple, whenever it hit 425, it just kind of stopped and then it chilled. Like whenever stocks hit those psychological whole numbers, they'll either do two things, which it's kind of like a no shit thing, but it's just good to hear. A break above that, let's say 3380 in this case, a break above that would instantly make most people think, okay, this is going to 3400 if it keeps going. If they're in a bullish sentiment, most people who are bearish with the sentiment are thinking, okay, this is going to reject. We're going to come back down. We're going to get our 80% confident, entry here, and then we're going to pump back up and try and break it again and go up and make a new high at 3400. So those are just two good scenarios to look at whenever you're setting targets and just looking at all-time high levels. I know not a lot of people here are used to seeing these levels and types of plays and having to set new lines like that, but in a more aggressive fashion, you're just going to have to mark these same notable levels like we always do. It's nothing different. It's just you just have to wait and be patient more. If it's going to break a new all-time high and you're not already in a position, I would not risk it. I would just wait until you see what's confirmed. Play what's confirmed in front of you. Not every stock is at an all-time high, so you're not going to have to deal with this on every single stock every single day. But now that we're approaching this more, I want people to be more aware. So I'm also going to be dropping another small video right after this about just a few stocks I'm on watch tomorrow that aren't these two, because those are actually levels for Tesla and Amazon tomorrow. But I'm going to go over Nvidia, BA, Apple, and maybe one other one.